I think you're ready. You're ready for the serious shit.
The letters that Momo will use in this segment of This Is Serious Shit are taken from his MomoZone.com email fan base. If you would like Momo to choose your email to be answered on the air, please specify it and write to momo@TheMomoZone.com. Our first letter is this one.
Hey Momo, my name is Will and I'm 21. First, I'd just like to say that I've been watching your videos for a while now, and I think what you're doing for people is great, and I know I have gained some awesome skills and tips from watching them. I know you probably hear this kind of stuff a lot, but I guess you can never get too many compliments. I'm a really shy guy. All my friends say I shouldn't have a problem getting a girl, but therein lies my problem. Even with this added encouragement from my friends, I can't even bring myself to approach a girl. As soon as I think of approaching a girl, I start to put myself down in my head. It hasn't always been this way. I've never told anyone about this, but I'm extremely self-conscious. I have huge problems with eye contact, body language, and probably most importantly, self-esteem. The more time passes, the worse these problems become. So here's my question. We have all heard the trick to public speaking is to imagine the audience naked. But I was wondering if you know or can think of any other tricks like this for approaching girls. P.S. I looked up your music. Fucking awesome. Rock on.
I'm waiting for your answer. I want to see if there's a trick when you're very shy like Will is to, overcome that.
Well, the trick about picturing yourself naked is actually really cool. I've heard that. I've got a trick that I do that is a lot more radical than that. You know what that is, Eric?
Tell me, I want to hear it.
My trick is I picture that if I don't deliver, I'm going to die. And that's not an option.
I have that too.
You do that?
Yeah. I'm always on the side of the cliff.
It pushes you to the next level. You know what I mean? Naked is nothing. Naked is like we've all got those nakedness underneath the shirt. So some things are bigger, some things are smaller. But dying is not an option.
Yeah, but he's imagining, and I know that trick, when you're in front of, 100 people or 200, you imagine them naked so you feel empowered. And then, you have all that nervousness. You don't have it.
Public speaking for me, going in raw like that, the first thing I'd like to do is I just need my starting word. For instance, when I went to speak at that university in Toronto not long ago, I had to speak for like an hour and a half. And boy, I had nothing to say. So the professor says, what are you going to say to these guys? I say, dude, all I have is my opening line. And the only thing I can think of was, I'm going to go to the board and I'm going to write Momo from the Momo Zone, and then I'm going to turn around to the whole class and I'm going to say, can you guys please repeat this? And then the whole class said, Momo from the Momo Zone. And then I just looked at these guys and said, damn, I've always wanted to do that.
You grab them by the balls right there.
That's right. But you also grab yourself by the balls. What happens is when you shock your own ass, you've got to deliver. And you got parameters where if I do this, I'll look stupid. If I look this, I'll do cool. Only talk about what you really do understand and don't try and dive into subjects that you don't. You know what I mean?
This is when you're, talking in front of a large crowd. But like Will, if he wants to, get acquainted with a girl or...
Being yourself, to me, has always been the best thing. Like, if you're shy, then tell them you're shy. I believe in honesty is the best policy. I'll always remember, I'm going to tell you something I've never even told Krila.
Your mother.
No, this is actually pretty crazy. But I remember I was 17 and I was living in Toronto and there was this girl. She was Miss Portugal. Beautiful girl. And she absolutely wanted me. But the thing is I was terrified. And I knew that, my God, how am I going to approach this girl? Anyway, she invited me to her.
She wanted you.
She wanted me. She invited me to her house, okay? We go up to her room, and I shit you not, she takes off all her clothes, and I look at her, and I say, damn, I'm really sorry. I don't think I can do anything with you.
You froze right there.
I froze right there. But you know what my answer was? I looked at her and I said, I don't want you to think I'm a wimp, but I really do need to know a person better before my private parts are going to respond, because it's not about sex to me. It's a mind thing. And I need to know that I feel good and comfortable around you. And then I will be the craziest madman you've ever seen.
How did she react?
Dude, she wanted me even more. She thought that was the coolest thing because she was a pretty girl. Everybody wanted her. And here was a guy that was saying, I'm sorry, I can't do anything unless I get to know you more because this is not about sex. Ultimate respect I got from that move.
So what do you say to Will?
I say, Will, be honest, be straight, If you like a girl, go up to her, find those common elements that you have in common. That's number one.
Yeah, but you have to talk with that girl, to find these common elements.
You could see it from the outside. You can see it. You can tell by the way they dress, maybe by what kind of books they read, what they're hanging out, who they're hanging out with. There's signs that tell you whether they like sports, whether they like music, whether they, you can start by picking up a couple of basic signs and trying approaching that person on that level. And if not, I'm telling you, honesty is the best policy. I would walk right up to the girl and say, look, I like you, but I got to tell you, I'm terrified because I'm not a very good communicator, and maybe you can help me with that. Honesty to me really works. And guess what? If that person can't understand that, then why the fuck would you want to be with that person anyways? Because that's the kind of person you want to wind up with in the end anyways. Somebody that you can show them anything, tell them anything, and have them not laugh at you and respect you and understand and encourage you for who and what you are.
So just be yourself.
Be yourself, and most of all, be honest, my friend. Go out there and be honest. Try it. You'll see. You won't believe it what happens when you tell a girl the truth. They'll respect you more than anything for that.
You are listening to The Momo Show, the kick-ass motivator, starring Momo from the Momo Zone and controversial radio personality, Erick Remy.